Welcome to this week's masterclass, you guys. Super excited to have Monica. Is it Dunlap? Having her in the house from all the way from Louisville, Kentucky. Super excited to be able to have her share with us of how she holds herself accountable to her goals. And so we'll hear from her for a minute. She'll be able to share her screen with us. And hopefully you guys find value in this masterclass and all the other ones. Just also to remind everybody here that all these masterclasses are both they're recorded and are put on our website, and they're also translated or put into our podcast that you can listen to at any point in time as you want, and that hits every single week. And so welcome to this week's masterclass. So Monica, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Just a little bit about myself. I'm Monica Dunlap. I'm a broker of Totally About Houses. So we have about 30 agents within our brokerage. Before as a broker, I did run a large team. I've been doing this for about 7 years. And over the past 7 years, I've actually sold a little over 900 homes. So definitely have the experience and something I am passionate about. And that's why I chose to do this class. I love holding myself accountable and helping others hold them accountable. So this is definitely a great class for me to teach because I really attribute the success I've had to setting goals, setting clear goals, and then holding myself accountable to reaching those goals. So I do have a PowerPoint I'd like to share today because it just helps me stay on task as well. So I'm going to begin. So the first part is, what is accountability? When you think of accountability, what you need to think about is, again, the definition, just right from the dictionary, is an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility and account for one's actions. And that's really important. You have to be able to do that when it comes to goal setting, because what I see all the time, what I'm going to talk about today, is we're really good at setting goals a lot of times, but we don't have the accountability behind it. So we fall short of reaching our goals. And the next part is, what is a goal? So a goal is something you want to achieve. It's the desired result that you or a group of people plan to commit on achieving. So put simply, a goal is a dream with a deadline. But here's the thing, and here's the caveat. We can't just put out there and say, I want to sell, 200 homes next year. That doesn't really mean anything, because a goal without a plan and accountability is just something you say. So really, what we want to look for is, you have to, I know everyone's probably heard it, but you have to, if you're going to set goals, which I definitely recommend, that's how you get somewhere in real estate and become successful, is you have to set SMART goals. And I know everybody's probably seen this, but I wanted to go over it too. What is a SMART goal? Well, it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. To me, I also put realistic. It has to be a realistic goal and time bound. So I want to really touch base on a realistic goal. Because if you're a brand new agent and you haven't sold any homes, if you say, hey, I'm going to sell 100 homes next year, you may be setting yourself up for failure. It could be done, but it's going to be much more difficult than if you say, you know what, I haven't sold any. Let me start with 24 or 30 or even 10 or 12. It doesn't matter. It's your goal. You just have to make sure it is realistic for you so you don't get discouraged. And then the rest of it is, when you do set that realistic goal, you have to have an end game. So what's the time to do this? And a lot of times it could be the end of the year or end of the quarter or end of the month. Make sure it's time bound and also very specific and measurable. How are you going to achieve the goal that you've set out to achieve? And then the next part is, you can't just, again, have a goal and not do anything with it. So really have to write down your goal. Don't just daydream about it, put it to pen and paper, because the probability of you actually accomplishing your goal increases substantially when you actually write it down. It makes them more tangible and makes them seem, more real. And make them visible. That's the next one. You have to, once you write your goal down, so if your goal is, I'm going to sell 100 homes this year, or I'm going to make $100,000, whatever it is, write it down. Put it everywhere. Put it in on your bathroom mirror. So you're constantly reminded and seeing what your goal is. That is a fatal or a big mistake that a lot of people make, especially real estate agents. They say their goal and they don't make it visible. So put it in your office, put it on a whiteboard. So you're constantly reminded of your goal. And this can even be for personal goals. If you want to lose 20 pounds, put it in there. And a big thing that you see a lot of people doing is making a vision board. Most of us are very visual. We want to see it. So if you, again, you want to sell 100 homes, make a board and put 100 different homes on that board. And then you can cross that each home off when you sell. So that's really important. If you haven't heard of a vision board, I definitely recommend looking into it. And it's a great way to help hold yourself accountable as well. And the next thing what you want to do to make sure that you hold yourself accountable is break your goal down. Okay? Because if I say, hey, I'm going to sell 100 homes this year, if I don't have a plan and I don't break it down, I don't set goals and milestones, the probability of me actually reaching it becomes slim to none. So you really want to make sure you break that down. So if it's 100 homes, then I'm going to maybe sell 25 a quarter. So if it's 25 a quarter, then what does that mean for, divide that by 3, right? And you're selling a little over, like, you're selling 12 a month. If it's 12 a month and you divide that by 4, I mean, that's 3 a week. That actually makes it more attainable. And so if you're on track or off track, and we're gonna get to tracking here in a minute, but it's so important to break down the goal that you have. So this is something that I have, and I'm happy to share this with everybody too. Agents in my brokerage, we use this. Again, we write it down, we have it in front of it, hang it up, make it visible, just like we talked about. But this is your yearly, this is like a yearly plan. So if you have an income goal, for example, of 200,000, and your average commission, though this is based upon your market, so you need to know your average commission. But for this example, I used 7,200 would be a realistic average commission, which was just 3% of the average price point. And then if the brokerage an 80-20 split, 80% to the agent. But anyway, it breaks it down here. The same thing that I just talked about, where if I'm going to make 200,000 this year, then line 3 is I need to have 28 closings. And then even further than that, you want to make sure that you have, you detail exactly how are you going to get those 28 closings. If you're 50-50 listings to buyers, and again, you can change your calculations based upon if you do 80% listings or 80% buyers, you can change this. This is your goal. But for this example, I said 50-50. So that means 14 buyers and 14 sellers. And then it even goes down to, we know not all listings sell. And not all buyers that you have or all contracts that you write close. So the percentages that do close, and if you're a brand new agent, you can, get with your broker and ask, hey, what is an industry average? What do you think I need to do? And then from that, I broke it further down to really how many contacts I need to get one appointment. Because at the end of the day in real estate, we can have a goal of selling 28, but if we never talk to people, never make any contacts, don't lead generate, we're not going to make the goals that we have. So here it says, like, in order to get an appointment, I need to have 20 conversations. Yours may be 50 conversations or 100 conversations, depending on how good you are on converting that lead. And that's something with you and a mentor, an accountability partner. If you know your results, then you would know what your number is just from selling. So just wanted to give you a quick overview of just an example of how you can break down a yearly plan. So you have a very focused plan of how many conversations I need every week in order to reach my goal. And if I don't hit these conversations, then I'm not going to be able to reach my goal. So that's just a quick breakdown there. There's a blank copy, but I will send it to anybody. I'm happy to include this as well at the end. And then from that, you need to develop your plan. And that's what becomes really important, because most agents, again, they write the goal, they may break it down, but then they have no plan on how to achieve that. So for example, I said I need to do 20 conversations in order to get an appointment, and I need to sell 3 homes, every week. So I probably need 5 to 6 appointments minimum based upon my conversion. So I'm going to have to talk to and lead generate so many times. So that's part of the plan of, look, if I'm going to reach my goal, then I need to spend 2 or 3 hours every day lead generating so I get an appointment a day so I can make sure I hit my goals. And that's what it's about. That's about developing a very clear plan of action so you have a higher probability of actually reaching your goals. And again, most agents don't do that. They don't develop the plan. So they just put this pie in the sky goal out there that they're never going to be able to reach. And then take action. Hold yourself accountable to this. So you're not going to achieve your goals if you don't get proactive and put your plan in place. So how do you hold yourself accountable? That's the kind of the second part of the presentation is you've got to set realistic goals. You've got to have a clear plan. And then really, you've got to hold yourself accountable and put it into action. So number one, share your goal with others. Put your goal out there for everyone to see. And I'm going to go into detail of each one of these in just a minute. Number two, you have to have the right positive mindset. That is so important. Positive affirmations every day. Number three, envision yourself achieving your goal. A lot of this is mindset, and you have to be in the right mindset in order to be successful. Number four, establish a schedule and routine. And number five, break down your goals into smaller tasks and milestones, set deadlines. And we covered that a little bit with the goal setting as well. Number six, track your progress, track everything. That, again, can't tell you how much and how important it is to track everything and to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you're not going to see the success that you want to see. Number seven, celebrate your wins. It's important to reward yourself along the way. And number eight, reflect and adjust and improve your goal. Sometimes we set a goal that may be out of way too high, even though we do the right behaviors. So sometimes you do have to reflect and adjust, or you set a goal way too low. You may say, hey, I want to sell 30 homes, and halfway through the year, you're at 36. Well, don't give up, readjust your goal, and we'll talk about that too. So number one, what we talked about, share your goals with others. It is so important. Don't let your goals be your best kept secret. You've got to put it out there. We talked about posting it, but also have an accountability partner. Find somebody, and it could be a fellow real estate agent or somebody you know, like, and trust, but also someone that's going to be honest with you and push you. Not someone that's going to just give you lip service and go, yeah, that's good. Somebody that's going to say, hey, Monica, you said you were going to make this many phone calls. Did you make them? And also, I say, tie it to a negative consequence and make it fun. So for your accountability partner, say, hey, look, if I don't make my phone calls this week, then I'll have to wash your car at the end of the week. Something that, hey, do you really want to wash the car or do something, or I'll do your laundry, or I'll be your personal assistant for a day, whatever it may be, but tie it to something that will make you say, I better make my phone calls. I better have these conversations so I can reach my goal. So my accountability partner, I don't have to be their personal assistant or wash their car. And then set a time and date, at least monthly, to check in with your results so they can help you accountable. So at least monthly, I would even say weekly, a 30-minute check-in call, just to make sure you stay on track, because a lot can get away from you if you wait a month. Okay. And then again, we've talked about it. Make your goal visible, make it large in your office, remind yourself daily. You should see it every day, what you're going for, and post it everywhere. Everyone in your office should know your goal, especially your accountability partner. Next part, have the right positive mindset, positive affirmations. If you read a lot of books, a book I'm really a big fan of and I recommend you reading is Ninja Selling, and it'll talk about this as well, but practice gratitude. Every morning when you wake up, you should practice gratitude and really think about 2 or 3 people that you are thankful for, and actually send them a note as well, or send them a message, give them a call, let them know that you're grateful for you. Start your day off in a positive mindset. Then envision yourself achieving your goal. What does it look like when you achieve that goal? So if I make my 100,000 or my 100 homes sold, whatever my goal is, what does it look like? How you have to envision yourself in the future. How are you going to feel? How is it achieving your goal going to change your life? What things can you do differently? Vacations you can take, or things you can have when you achieve your goal. And believe in yourself. If you think you can, you will. And if you think you can't, you won't. And if you don't believe you're going to achieve your goal, you never will, and you won't hold yourself accountable to do it. Okay. And then we just a little bit further of just envisioning yourself and achieving the goal. So visualizing outcomes you want can increase your confidence. Seeing yourself succeed helps you believe that you can and will happen. Visualization helps you practice success. When you imagine every step in an event or activity going well, you get in your mind and body ready to take those steps in real life. And then anyone can benefit from visualization. If you don't have to be a life coach or a personal development expert to use visualization to achieve your goals. It's just so important, just seeing yourself getting those goals so you know where you're going, so you have that drive to get there. And then establish a schedule. So this is one of my core successes that I am very, very adamant about with the brokers on my team and myself is everything needs to be planned and a routine. You have to structure your day. I mean, that's just so important. Just a life hack and just to be successful in life. If you're not scheduling your day and you're living like day to day as wherever the wind blows, you're not going to achieve the goals that you want to do. So you should every day set a time where you wake up. I recommend waking up early because you can get so much accomplished in the morning. And there's a lot of books out there that say the same thing. You got the Miracle Morning for real estate agents, even Ninja Selling. I mean, they're telling you because it works. And that's something that I personally do. And you just get so much done when you do that. And then time block to accomplish your goals. So if you say, hey, I'm going to get 100 homes, you need a time block to lead generating because that's the activity that's going to get you those goals. So I'm going to lead generate every day from 9 to 11:30. I'm going to have the door closed in my office. Nobody's going to be able to come in. I'm going to have my cell phone turned off because my CRM can call. I recommend a great CRM to do that. So I'm not going to get distracted with emails. I'm not going to do any of that until I get my lead generation done because I'm going to reach my goals. You have to be disciplined in order to do that and talk with your accountability partner about that so they help hold you accountable to that. And the ninja way with ninja selling, work on your business in the morning and in your business in the afternoon. And that works really well for real estate agents. You lead generate in the morning, and then the afternoon, you're going on your appointments, going on showings and just working in your business. Be task oriented. I mean, I live by my task. This morning in Follow Up Boss, that's the CRM we use, I had 50 tasks. And that keeps me, if I didn't have tasks and set deadlines, I wouldn't be as disciplined and wouldn't get things done the way I do. So every time I talk to a client, anything I do, I set a task for my next follow-up and I put notes so then I know exactly where I'm at when I talk to them next. And that's something that has helped me really with the success is like, wow, you are on it, Monica. And the reason why I went with you as a client or I chose your brokerage is because you are relentless in your follow-up. And that's what you need to be. You need to be relentless in your follow-up and everything. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. I put everything in my calendar. My whole day is absolutely scheduled. And that helps you achieve the goals that you want and get things done. And consistency is key. Consistency is a key to achieving your goals. Develop daily habits and align your goals and make them a priority in your routine. So this is a suggested daily schedule that we have. And that's a lot of it's right from Ninja Selling, where you do script practice, you generate for leads, you follow up on leads, writing note cards is a great thing, but doing daily training, sharpening your saw, having lunch and try to make sure you have lunch with clients a couple days a week. Then business servicing, so responding to emails, under contracts in the afternoon, and then going on appointments. So just like we talked about, and it's so important too, and this is where scheduling comes in, to have a work-life balance. If you have that goal of 100 homes or whatever it is, but if you allow it to consume your life, you're not going to be happy and you're not going to achieve your goal. You've got to make sure you spend time for family, for friends, and shut the phone off as well and set boundaries with your clients also. I mean, you shouldn't be on the phone at 9 o'clock at night. I mean, I know, and we're very big on client, services and taking great care of clients, but you have to have an off button as well, so you can be, rejuvenated and be better the next day. So I'm also happy to send a schedule to anybody as well. And we also talked about this too, with just making sure you're breaking your goal into smaller tasks. I mean, it's a big task to say, or hey, I want to sell 100 homes. What does that mean? And I know we talked a lot about this already, defining the goal, clearly identifying milestones, creating sub goals from it. So a sub goal, for example, would be I'm going to sell 100 homes, but my sub goal would be I'm going to, connect with 20 people, I have 20 conversations every day, because that's going to help me get my 100 homes or whatever that may be. We already talked about tasks, prioritizing and planning, and track your progress. So that is huge. Track everything. You should be tracking how many conversations you have. You should be tracking how many appointments you have that you get the listing or you don't get the listing, because that's how how hard you should be working or what you need to do to change things. If you're going on 5 listing appointments and you're not getting any listings, you need to know that, hey, something's not working. I've got to retrain, or I need to do something different, go see a mentor or coach to help me with my business, because 0 out of 5 or 1 or 2 out of 5 isn't good. You've got some agents that can do 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. So you want to make sure that you track your progress and all that. Celebrate when you do it. So if you say, hey, I'm going to make 500 calls this week, and you make 500 calls, celebrate it. But if you only make 480, then you need to figure out, hey, what do I need to do, or what can I do to make sure I hit it and make it happen? So we just talked about that. How are you tracking your goals? So we use Follow Up Boss, or a CRM is a great way to track your goals. Excel spreadsheets or Google Sheets, they work very well as well. We have a combination of both, or apps. We've got 90.io, Asana. There's lots of apps out there that help make sure you track the progress of your goal, because what you track, improves. And just why it's important to track your goals is to stay accountable. You measure progress, you identify any roadblocks. So if there is an issue or you're not getting the results, you go back to what you're tracking and you can see where you're missing. Maybe it's you're not making enough phone calls, or you're making the calls, but you're not having enough conversations. So how do you get more conversations? What do you need to do differently? And then from that, you make adjustments so you can stay on track. And then celebrate your wins, just like we've talked about. Set up rewards for certain milestones and completing tasks. It's so important to stay positive and reward yourself for the good job that you're doing. And really the last part is reflect and adjust. So you want to schedule time to reflect and adjust. And I talked about this a little bit. You won't always get the plan right the first time. When you track your progress, you will see if your plan is working and adjust accordingly. So, if you reach your goals before your timeline, don't give up. Move the finish line and keep building it. Reward yourself, but continue to grow. And then really in summary, in order to reach your goals, you must set a detailed plan and hold yourself accountable to achieving them. You'll never be able to reach your goals without first setting a SMART plan and establishing a daily, weekly, monthly habits and routines to accomplish your goals. You must be consistent with this and relentless in your follow-up and tracking your progress to your goal. Make your goal known and visible, share it with others, and have an accountability partner to help keep you motivated and continually work towards your goal. So that's what I have. I hope this was helpful for everybody. And did anybody have any questions or thoughts?
Monica, first of all, thank you for your presentation. I think the biggest challenge that a lot of us as realtors have is that we have this beautiful plan in place, and then we have fires that we need to put out. And we have, like we do all the things and we get busy, we get these transactions going, we get these escrows opened, and we're working on them. And then all the other stuff kind of falls on the wayside because we're so focused on making sure that the transaction that we have goes to completion, because if it doesn't, we don't get paid. And then we start this roller coaster of like having to start all over again. So how do you limit that from happening? How do you stop the roller coaster ride?
Coaster. So I'm infamous. I love that you brought that up, because I taught my agents, don't be part of the roller coaster ride, right? And this is where the time blocking and consistently, you can't allow, I know it seems urgent. I know like, oh, this thing is urgent, they need me, but that's where I discussed it too in the presentation, where, if it's 9 to 11, this is what I'm going to do to work on my goal, my lead generation. You have to put your email aside. You can't allow the email to pop up and distract you. Your phone aside, where I'm going to spend this time dedicating to the goal. The world is not going to fall apart, I promise, in that 2 hours while you're doing that lead generation, working towards your goal. They're still going to be there. And as soon as that time's over that you time block, you then go to that and can start, firefighting and things like that. But you have to make sure you dedicate that time every work day to doing it and be consistent with that. That's the crucial part of it.
So holding yourself accountable to that time block of time, I think is definitely the critical thing. Not easy to do, but if you do it, you'll get off that roller coaster and you'll be able to hit all of your goals that you have.
And also,
Um,
too, just in the mornings, I don't check my email. I don't check it because I don't want to get distracted. So the first thing, so my personal mornings, I'm up by about 5:30 and then I do yoga. So you do yoga, do your affirmations. I get a lot of housework and little chores because I have kids. So I want to be home in the afternoon and not have to worry about laundry and the house and everything else. So that's all done by the time they wake up, get them ready, get them to school in the office by usually 8:15. And then I just prepare my list for the day of what I'm going to do, my to-do, and I get on the phone at 8:30 with I have VAs. I recommend VAs in your business as well, but I have VAs get their plan going, and then we do our script practice at 9 o'clock, and then we go right into lead generating. Doors closed. I'm not checking my emails. If you don't know about it, you can't put your mind on it. So don't even check the emails or anything like that. Do the lead generating, and then right 11 o'clock, if that's your time to say, you know what, now I can look at it. Because most people want to see homes and do everything in the afternoon. They're not looking at 9 in the morning for that thing. So that's where it works very well for our business. And then do your firefighting or whatever you need to do. But get your goals accomplished early in the morning so the rest of the day you can work on what you need and stop that roller coaster ride. Yeah, in general. So
Monica, the second question I have is for most of us, when we set our goals, we set them higher than we've ever accomplished before. And I know that you talked about, some of the ways in which you could visualize and positive thoughts and stuff like that. Are there any other ways in which you've felt like you have been able to get around the hurdle of our own mindset and being able to accomplish a goal that we never have done before?
I think the biggest thing is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I mean, because if you surround yourself with naysayers and negative people, oh, you're never going to get more than 12 a year. You've never done it. You're not going to be able to. So you need to get yourself in an accountability group or just a group of people that are positive and know that you can achieve it. You can achieve whatever you put your mind to. Um, even in Ninja, I recommend really reading Ninja Selling. I know I mentioned it a couple times. It's a great book that really gets you in that mindset. And part of Ninja Selling, he says, hey, okay, everybody write down your goal. And you write down your goal. He says, okay, now double it. Okay, now that's your new goal. Whatever it was, your original goal is double. That's your new goal because with the right behaviors, you can make anything happen.
For sure. One thing that's helped me along the way is being able to go to conferences like Tom Ferry and and then see all these other people, all walks of life, accomplishing wonderful things. And it blows my mind. And my thought is if they could do it, I can do it. And so like putting yourself in positions where you get to see people that have achieved the goals that you want to achieve and then be able to say like, you know, how and if you see them do it, then it gives you that kind of that motivation to be able to do it too. I'm not a very creative person, but I enjoy creative outlets. And I'm not good at coming up with things, but I can mimic, right? I can see someone do something and then try to duplicate what they've done. And so like you can do the same thing. You can see someone that's had success and you're like, okay, well, what do they do? What are the characteristics that they have? What are the qualities that they have? And then how's it different from mine? And how can I switch what I'm doing to be able to mimic them so that I can have the same success? And you guys, it's not, there's no secret to it, right? It's if you want to accomplish something that someone else has, then do what they do and you'll get there.
Yep.
Very good. Does anybody else have any questions for Monica and how to be able to hold yourself accountable and set up goals that are, push you enough, but at the same time, like realistic so you could accomplish them? Everyone's got their goals dialed in and everyone's all doing perfect. So this is kind of a,
I don't think it's that. I think it's a reminder of what we need to be doing, and everybody's probably introspecting. But for me, I feel like maybe the goal that I set is too high. And how do you combat that when it's too high? And is it okay to come back into it and reduce it? I don't know. I mean, is that good or is that bad as far as a goal of, for instance, of selling so many houses a year? Like when you are not on track early, do you adjust your goal or do you keep it the same to obtain it?
Well, I think honestly, I don't think I wouldn't adjust it yet. We're still early in the year, right? I would really look at first, are you doing the right behaviors, right? Are you time blocking? Are you really doing what you need to do in order to do that? And do you have the right support as well? Do you have that accountability partner? Do you have somebody, a mentor, somebody that's done it that you can turn to and get some ideas from of how they did it as well? Because if you're going in blind to a goal, then you're not setting yourself up for success. And maybe that's part of it too. You didn't maybe do that research of what's actually needed to get there. Or it's some skills that you may have that you needed to hone in on. If you don't, like I said, I've had agents in the past that, hey, they make 100 phone calls but don't get any connections or conversions, then we got to teach them how to convert. So it could be that versus, hey, my goal's too high. It's how do you sharpen your saw as well? What are the behaviors you need to do in order to do that? So that's where the tracking comes down as well, and really looking at that. And are you really putting what you need to get this many homes?
I think that's a misconception that a lot of agents have where they get into business, they think, oh, I'm a people person. I'm a high I and I enjoy looking at homes. I've watched lots of hours of HGTV, and so I'm naturally a good salesperson. And that could be farther from the truth. And so, and therefore, because of the mindset that they have like that, they think that it's easy, right? You just go show a house and then they'll magically write an offer and you'll get that paycheck. Well, we all know if you've been in the business for around the block, that that's not how it works. And so increasing your skill set is a huge component of being able to achieve your goals. Because if you don't do that, then it's just like you're saying, you can make 100 phone calls, you make 1,000 phone calls or knock on 1,000 doors, and you're not going to get anyone to say anything to you because you don't know how to properly sell. And so increasing our skill set as a salesperson has a huge impact on our overall ability to be able to convert and therefore achieve those goals that we have for ourselves. All right. Any other thoughts, Monica?
No, no, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. Well, if you have any other thoughts, please post them below. Otherwise, thank you so much for being on this week's episode of the Masterclass where we learn about goals and how to set them. And I think Monica would also agree with me that if you guys don't have your goal set, we're already, halfway through the first quarter of the year, right? And so I know that the market's picking up a little bit, which is great, but at the end of the day, the success that you're going to have this year is not predicated upon the market. It's not predicated upon the interest rate. It's predicated upon your own ability to be able to hit the goals that you have set for yourself and making sure that you are being truthful with yourself and doing the things that you need to do to get the results that you want. So
Yeah, what I say is go out and get your unfair share of the business.
that's it. That's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have an amazing Thursday and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week.